All right, so lots of things have happened in the last 6 months with social media. There's a lot of updates, there's a lot of changes to Facebook and Instagram. A lot of things that have gone on that don't necessarily get publicized, so I wanted to put it together in just a quick few slides, and then we can go over the apps that I use on a regular basis, especially the new one that I'm using to create little video snippets with, that I love lots and lots. So we'll get started with this stuff.
Cool.
You guys know who I am. That's me.
Damn.
I know. So one of the things that people weren't utilizing a lot because of the need for the vertical video is Instagram TV. So a lot of the cool videos that we have put together through the different tools that we use, Andy puts together the really great videos for the properties. If you've been avoiding adding video to your Instagram TV because of the vertical video need, they're now letting you do it horizontal. So if you have any of these really great videos that you've been doing for your properties, so any walkthroughs, any kind of cool stuff, mostly just Larry, but if anybody's been doing any video and you want to add it to Instagram TV, you can start adding these, and it's a great place to add your virtual tours. So the tours that Andy does with the drones and all that stuff, you can add those to your Instagram TV channel. And what that does is it makes you searchable throughout the world, not just locally. So you can add the property description, you can add your email, you can add your phone number. You can do live videos in Instagram TV and then share that directly to your feed. So that increases your searchability. It also gives you really good brownie points with Instagram because they want people to use the tools that they have available. The other thing that Instagram is sort of hinting at is that if you're using Instagram TV, the data could potentially be utilized in the future for retargeting. So if people are watching your videos and then you turn around in a couple months and do an ad, you could potentially be retargeting the people who've already watched your videos. So you're creating new audiences, and this is important with a lot of the changes that Facebook has been making and will continue to make, and in terms of how people are allowed to control their privacy settings, and we'll talk about that more in the next slide.
So Deanna, quick question. If we were posting a live video to Instagram TV and then sharing it to our page, does it need to be vertical or can it be horizontal?
It can be either one.
Okay.
Yeah. So the other things that people don't realize are there is that you can create these lists. So you can add this new thing that they've called close friends. And what this is going to let you do is it's going to allow you to create a group. So you could do like a Team Bjorkman one. You could literally have it just be your friends of people you want to send things directly to. So if you want to send a video that you've just posted to a potential group of buyers, you want to send a video to a potential property seller, you're like, hey, look at this cool video we just did, this is amazing. Or you have friends and family in your sphere that you want them to share what you just shared on Instagram and repost it, you can send that directly to them. What that does is that increases your views, and it also gives you a new way to use the people who may be currently following you. So I'll send this to you guys in a PDF so you can have the how-tos, because it's a lot of text to read and take pictures of, but I'll send it to you in the PDF so you have it. But this is all now available in your settings area. So you can also send them private messages, you can send them cool neat things like don't forget to share it, come and see me at my open house. This is a really cool way just to engage with your Instagram followers without just the comments and the likes. Because I know a lot of people have a hard time keeping up with comments because after a while, they sort of fall out of your notifications. So if you saw somebody commented and then you have to hunt for it, and okay, it's gotta be on one of these pictures, I know it is definitely in here somewhere, and then you give up because you can't find it, you're not sure where it was. So close friends is something new. Hashtag insights. So there's a lot of changes recently to Instagram's API. It's just a fancy way for saying how Instagram lets third-party apps, tools, and websites connect to their service. So if you're using a tool like Buffer or Sprout Social or any of those to schedule posts to Instagram, those guys have gone to great lengths to have access to Instagram's API. So those things are not going to go away because they continue to follow the rules. But there's a lot of other third-party apps and tools and websites that basically what they've done is they've sort of piggybacked on an open channel to be able to do things. So there's apps that I'm sad to see go away, but you sort of have to go with what Instagram and Facebook is doing. There's a lot of companies that are losing their leverage and that they would have like, you can pay us $50 a month and we guarantee you 10,000 followers in 90 days. Those companies are going to be going away because that's not a service that Instagram is going to allow them to use anymore. So what we're going to have to rely on a lot is our hashtags. So hashtags are becoming more and more relevant as we continue to see Instagram grow and change. Hashtags insights are going to be more readily available for you to see in the back end when you're looking at your settings. So when you look at the settings and the insights and you go to the view insights button, and we'll look at that on Instagram and I'll show you, you'll be able to see this kind of data and information. So your number of impressions from hashtags, from the home screen, from the explore area, and it'll break it down to the hashtags that you've been using and where you're seeing the most impressions from. So then that way, you individually can adjust the hashtags that you're using on your posts to match and mirror what's being most successful for your audience. There's still tools out there that you can use to auto-generate hashtags based on what's currently popular. But one of the things that you should always remember is that, like we talked about in the last training, is that you should always have at least like 3 to 4 sort of custom ones that rely on your location. Maybe you use your name as one. The Team Bjorkman one is always important, or Bjorkman Edwards, now that we're changing things. But this will be really important information because if you're not currently hashtagging your posts, you're losing viewers. You're not getting people who are searching Instagram. And I know a lot of people, like I did a training a few weeks ago, so we're like, well, I don't search for anything on Instagram. And by the end of the training, the woman came up to me and she was like, wait a minute, yes, I do. She was like, I search for people, I search for my friends, and then it turns into, just like, never mind, I was wrong. But you do, when you go onto Instagram and you're looking maybe for a competitor, you're looking to see what open houses are going this weekend. You want to see, you want to see what other people are doing so that you can figure out how to do it better or to mirror and match what they're doing that's being successful. So there's nothing wrong with keeping an eye on the competition. One of the apps, there's a few different apps that are still allowed to allow you to remove followers, but this is what Instagram recommends that you do to get rid of followers. So this is in your followers list, and it'll let you pick out any followers that you think are, ghost followers. They're not following you, they're not interacting with your stuff. And you really want to make sure that you're keeping your following and follower ratios pretty different. So you want more people following you than you want to be following. Oh. So one of the things that they continue to teach us is that if you're following, let's say, 10,000 people and you only have 500 followers, that's an uneven ratio. So you need to even it out a little bit. So you can either do this manually, or there's an app I'll show you that I really like that you can use. But this is the manual way to do it. It will not tell people that you're unfollowing them. That's one of the big myths, is that like people got really freaked out when they were presenting this a few weeks ago when I sat through the webinar. And there's been this myth forever that if you unfollow somebody, it tells them. Well, if they have one of those tracking apps, then it will tell them. But I always tell my clients to just delete those from their phones because it's just a bigger headache than it is worth the time. So this is just a really simple, you can locate who you want to unfollow. The way that I do it in my mind is I'll look at the person, I'll look at how many followers they have, how active they are, what kinds of things are they posting, is it really relevant for me to be following them? If it's your grandma or your grandpa or your aunt or your uncle or like nephew or whatever, leave them, that's fine. If they've only got like 5 pictures, no big deal. But I'm talking about like local businesses. I'm talking about like a business that closed 6 months ago and they're no longer posting anything that's relevant. It's closed, it's gone, they're not doing anything. You can unfollow them. If it's a person who you want in your sphere and you want to communicate with them, then keep them, but just make sure you're nurturing that relationship through messages. So send them a direct message and just say, hey, thanks for following me on Instagram. Let me know if you ever need anything. You know, I'm always out and about previewing property. So you can do those kinds of things to make sure that you're connected with people on Instagram. The other thing that Mike has always done is on Facebook, keeping track of the birthdays. So if it's somebody's birthday, send them a cute video message in the morning, just saying, hey, happy birthday. I hope you're having a wonderful day. You know, would love to connect with you soon. Can I buy you a cup of coffee or a piece of cake or something? So finding your followers and getting rid of them, it's really about that perfect daily schedule that Tammy's always talking about. So when you're scheduling your Instagram and Facebook time, whether it's in the morning or the evening, I always recommend for people to try and give themselves no more than like 30 minutes. Do it in 30-minute chunks. And if you don't get it all done, walk away from it. Because then you get sucked down into a rabbit hole of, uh-oh, it's now been 45 minutes and I don't know why I was doing this. So give yourself a task. Like, I'm gonna do these 3 things today on social media and I'm gonna complete them in this 30 minutes. And if I don't, then move the task to the next day. Don't get stuck, because I do it all the time. Instagram story they've added the countdown timer recently. So what I love about this is it's a countdown to my open house. It's a countdown to the broker open or an event that you're attending. If you're the chairperson of a big nonprofit event that's happening, if you're getting an award, if you're doing anything cool, do a story about it and add a countdown timer. And what this does is it just creates this sense of urgency, this sense of awesomeness. It gives people pause to stop and look and see what you've just posted about. Because all of the data says that 60% of the people that are on Instagram or on Facebook looking at stories, most of them are just till they see something cool. And then it's like, oh wait, what's that? Let me go back. What is that? Oh, that's really neat. That's really cool. Oh, I like that. Okay. So you're getting more eyes, you're getting attention, and people think you're doing cool things. People want to know what else is going on. You can also now share your posts to Instagram stories. So it's super easy. This share button is getting more and more oomph behind it. It used to just be, if you wanted to share it, you could send it directly to another contact and that was it. Well, they've opened it up to now this is another place where you can reply to somebody else's post. You can share it, so you can take that, if it's a public post and it's a public profile, you can share it other places using that Share To tool. I believe it opens up Facebook and a couple other things. But then you can also now add it to your story. So you're doing double duty with certain things. You don't have to worry about now, a while ago, it was basically if you had a square cut picture and you tried to post it to your story, it was like pixelated and huge and awkward to look at. Now what it does is it just opens it up as a square with a frame around it. So they've continued to make Instagram stories easier and easier to use. And what I love about this is that this means if you've got a quick post that you want to do a quick video and you want to share that to your story, super easy. You don't have to do it 3 times. You don't have to start over and then, oh wait, this one was better, so I'm going to do Facebook again, or I'm going to do this one and this one again. So this makes it super easy. Then you can auto share it to Facebook and you don't have to do the same post 3 different places at the same time. This is the one that Mike's going to be sad he's missing. You can now get verified on Instagram without having to have 10,000 followers. Now, they're still not opening the floodgates yet on the advertise in your story thing. Cross your fingers that that's coming next. So this, I was gonna show the video of me submitting for it, but then I was trying to post it, and I was trying to save it, and it wouldn't let me. So I think Apple was trying to beat me. But all you have to do is go to, in your Instagram, go to your account, and go down to request verification. It asks you to select a category, who you are, what you are, fill out your information, and then you have to upload a picture of your photo ID. That's it. And then they'll either approve you or not. Yes? Oh. Don't worry about it. We can do like step-by-step walkthrough.
That's just giving us the blue check mark, right?
But yeah, so this is the blue check mark. And why the blue check mark is important is previously it was just available to celebrities and public figures. If you were a celebrity without 10,000 followers, you could still apply for it anyway. But for public figures or people who Instagram calls creators, we know them as influencers, they would have to get to 10,000 followers to get the verified blue check, and then that opens up a wide variety of things. So what this is it's creating a new way to say, like, this is mine officially. And why this is important, and I've had real estate agents in other communities say, well, I had somebody copy my Instagram account because I'm doing so well, and they took my name. So it's not necessarily their exact name, but it's a version of their name. So getting verified as a professional in your industry is super important so that people, if they find you on Instagram, they find you on Facebook, they know that's you, and they're not gonna look any further. So this is the one this is the one that's gonna like kill advertising in really sad ways. But there's always hacks to get around it. So later this year, Facebook is going to, and they didn't tell us when, they just said later this year. They're going to add a tool for individuals to basically wipe their collected data. So what that means for us as professionals is if you're advertising to somebody who's a prospective buyer, the 25 to 50 range with a certain income and a certain location, who likes certain things, golf, tennis, boating, whatever, it'll make it harder to reach the people who have taken the extra step to wipe their data. So that's sort of one of those crazy things that everybody in the marketing world is like, no. But so what they said, what their suggestion was, and one of the trainers that I follow was basically said is that, like, this is why video ads are so important, because video gives you still the opportunity to retarget someone based on whether or not they've watched your video. So if somebody has been previewing property that you've posted, you've got an ad running for one of your homes, and they've watched the video, whether it's 10 seconds, 15 seconds, 20 seconds, 30 seconds, you can retarget people with new properties, new information, home value pages, landing pages, squeeze pages, however you want to do it. But you can retarget those people based on them watching your video. The other thing is that they suggested was taking advantage of using Facebook's lead forms. So if people are clearing or wiping their data, you can create an ad with the lead form, and that will then dump their actual email that they have for Facebook and their name and phone number if those are the things that you want to collect. So there will be new and exciting things that we'll be able to do that will help us to get away from any of this potentially happening. The other thing, though, is that we'll have to do, as we've continued to be more Instagram heavy, because Instagram targeting will still be available for a lot of the things that will be taken away. So it will be very, very interesting to see what's going to happen with this, but they were teasing about it last year after all the issues that we had with the election cycle. They didn't say anything more about it, and then last month in their State of the Facebook forum, they talked about it and said it's definitely coming. So this is also why it's really important to, if you have a Sphere email list, to upload those to your Facebook ad accounts to be able to get those people's information attached to what you're doing. So when you upload any emails that you've collected, any phone numbers, any addresses, any of that stuff, you can create targeted ads just specifically to people, those people on the list or people like those people. So that's also a way to get around it. Facebook is changing the way that they look at comments in terms of how people behave on pages. So this is really important if you have your own Facebook page and you're looking to increase engagement. So Facebook is going to promote comments which have a reply from the original poster. So if somebody comments on your Facebook or your Instagram post, you want to reply, like and reply it, unless of course it's some like weirdo who's mad because the house is overpriced in their opinion. Then just hide that comment. Don't argue with them. I was looking at Facebook yesterday and there was an agent who was going back and forth with somebody about why the house was properly priced. It was nobody in Santa Clarita, was out of town, but it was just, I messaged her, I was like, is that really like a hill you want to die on? Not really. And then Facebook is also going to promote comments and reactions from friends of the original poster. So what that means is that they're starting to put more and more emphasis on interaction. So you can't just post something and boost it and then be like, my post is boosted, so people are going to see it. Doesn't matter now the type of advertising dollars that you're putting behind things. They want to see interaction. So if you see someone commenting on a Team Bjorkman Facebook post and you don't see a reply and you know what the price of the house is, go ahead and reply. Nobody's going to be mad at you. I'm not going to be mad. It's funny because somebody on another team that I work with got reprimanded by somebody else who's not actually on the team. So I was like, no, please. If I don't catch it immediately, please help me out. Comment on it. Because it also helps to spread the word that the team is super knowledgeable and how many people are involved and how many things in different places that you can find a wealth of information. So this doesn't mean that just because your friend is posting a bunch of MLM stuff on their page or on their Facebook profile that they're all of a sudden going to get more of a connection. It's really an incentive for brands to do better. People who are still hosting pages for multi-level marketing stuff. So I'm talking about like the Beachbody stuff and those types of things. Those places are still being kept a very wary eye on just because they tend to break the rules with creating Facebook profiles rather than Facebook pages to sell their stuff. So you're not technically supposed to do business with a Facebook profile. That's why they have pages. But if you're sharing an open house, you're sharing a listing or sharing a video, and you're still sharing pictures of your kids and your family and all the other cool stuff you're doing, it really won't matter.
I think I am. So should I change that, put all that information on my business page?
No, you can have it in both places.
Oh, okay.
You can share it because your sphere is your friends and your family.
Yeah.
Your first level sphere is all those people who know, like, and trust you already, and they think you're great.
Well, yes, they do.
Yes, they do. So we're seeing updates to how video is currently is going to be ranked. Back in May, Facebook shared that there were going to be several different changes that was going to come with video rankings. So they're prioritizing it now based on these three factors. So loyalty and intent, which includes an intent and repeat viewership. So if people are watching your videos, if they're looking for your videos, if they're coming to your page and they see your video and then they come back again, that's what they're looking for. They're looking to see how long people are watching your video. So they want to see people's videos capturing their attention for at least a minute before they drop off. Before they were giving us like 3 seconds, 10 seconds, then now it's 20 seconds, and now it's like we're looking for a minute. And then originality. So one of the things that they're trying to get away from is repurposed content. So I know a lot of us use repurposed content, and what that means is Every real estate agent signed up for this one real estate marketing tool, and they're all downloading the same videos and memes and infographics. So what they're trying to do is increase originality. So they want people to get away from sharing the same content over and over again, rebranded with their own logo. So Facebook is looking at creating its own video creation tool in the next year-ish. So that means 2 years. No, maybe sooner. But what they're trying to do is sort of copy what I think YouTube tried to do really unsuccessfully with Google and Google Plus, where they had this like beta tested thing that beta tested for like, I feel like 3 years, where it was like YouTube Creator Studio, which is still basically the back end of your YouTube channel, where you could go in and upload snippets and pictures and stuff and put things together. And it really tried to mimic what iMovie does for Apple products, and then there's a couple of other ones. But it never really took off because people spent so much time learning all the really expensive movie making tools that why am I going to sit on YouTube when I just spent hundreds of dollars on all of the software that now you're telling me I don't need. So Facebook is going in that direction where they're trying to just encourage us to be unique and creative and post things that are original and fun. Like we had, if you have a niche neighborhood that you're working with, if you've got a specific area and you have a top 10 list of restaurants or a top 5, fitness places, or, hidden gems of Santa Clarita or hidden gems of Los Angeles. If you're the kind of person that seems to come across really cool niche-y places, or there's some really neat old standbys in the community that people don't realize are there because they have a certain following and maybe the younger generation doesn't realize that it's still there, or people like me who move away and come back don't realize that those places are still up and running until somebody goes like, oh, have you been here? And it's like, well, I didn't know I was there. So start to come up with, as you make your perfect daily schedule and you put in some time to think about marketing, to come up with maybe one new idea for video like every week. And even if it doesn't have to be overly produced, it doesn't have to be professionally shot, just do something that is original and unique that no other agent is doing so that you can set yourself apart when it comes to the Facebook algorithm. Okay, so that's all the new stuff, but I know we had talked about apps and we had talked about a bunch of other things, and I did want to share some of the tools that I use on a regular basis, especially this new one that I love. So let me get out of here. And let me go here. Okay, so in Instagram.
Oh, good. Just about.
So in Instagram, you've got,
I go to.
here's our main profile, right? And so you can see on here your followers, you can see your following, you can update this about section with whatever you want. You can add, you can see who has tagged you in stuff. Somebody tagged me in stuff. But then also up here, right at the top, the little 3, and that's where you open up your sort of your back end area. Right? In here, this is where if you have a business profile, so if you switch to a business account, you're gonna have insights. So you can look at the activity of your audience and see all this stuff in here. So
0.
Your follower activity, you can see who follows you. Is it men versus women? What time are your followers the most active? You can even switch it over to days. So my followers are active every day. And then you can look at, what I like to look at the most is in the content. So this is neat. You can see feed posts showing from the last year sorted by engagement.
Oh.
So what did everybody like the best that we posted? What got the most engagement and was the most exciting? Going back to your here. So one of the cool things is I like to encourage people to use is the name tag. So name tag is basically if you want people to follow you, you can have them just scan the name tag. So you don't have to say, like, especially if you have, it's your name
Okay.
with a dot or an underscore or any of that, you can just say, oh yeah, follow me. And the cool thing is that you can screenshot this,
Oh.
right? So you can screenshot it and then you can share it on Facebook or you can share it on your Instagram. And
you can save it to your photos too.
yes, and you can save it to your photos. So you can change the color.
Huh.
Wait, how do you? Oh, I see color.
I really love it. It's really neat. So you can also share it via text message. So you can open that up and share it to text. I've had people who have just had them bookmark it, like save it as a favorite photo in their photos. So then that way they can find it. Because then that way it's easier.
Do
But
you
you
know
can email it.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Do you know if you can, you know how on Snapchat how they have the same thing very similar where you can scan and do that?
Mhm.
And then I've seen people, make that into something where it's scannable. Have you ever done that or used that? Where you do it scannable and like have that printed out and do it that way?
Yeah, so one of the things that I saw somebody do, actually it's the yoga studio that I work with in Orange County, is she put that on the flyers that she was handing out at an event that she was at. And she just kept telling me like, oh yeah, here, scan it. See, now you can follow me. And everybody was like, loved it. So I think it's definitely cool if you put it on, maybe you go door knocking, or if you're at a nonprofit event or you're at a community event and you're handing out flyers or postcards or something cool like that, then that way you can encourage people to follow you. Let's see. So when you go into and you tap on settings at the bottom, there's a bunch of things that are going to continue to keep getting added in here. So your activity is your time on Instagram. So my daily average for my own account is 5 minutes. That's really sad. You can check your notifications. So you can decide if you want push notifications for any of these things. You want to pause all of them for a certain specific time. You can go through and you can turn them off. You can turn them on. You can decide if you want just notifications from people you follow. This used to be something that people were asking for, and then Instagram never said it was here, so we were all like super excited when somebody found it. And my friend sent it to me and she was like, did you see this? And I was like, damn it. So exciting. But so this is really cool because like I manage several Instagram handles, so I get notifications about direct messages all the time, but for certain clients, I don't want to get notifications that they got direct messages because it's their personal Instagram. So I don't want to see some of the stuff that comes through, and neither do they. Don't want me to see it either. So then I can go through and I can turn it off. So then I don't get notifications for those specific things. If you go into business, you can make sure that you have it set up so that you can do payments, right? So if you have things attached to it, then you can put in a credit card, and then that way you can promote your own posts individually. You can set up quick replies. So it's save common responses so that you can use them anytime. So this would be if you're getting direct messages and you want to set up like an auto DM without having to utilize an app for it. You can say like, thanks for messaging me. I try and be as responsive as possible. I'm probably out showing homes right now, but I'll get back to you as soon as possible. If you need direct assistance, shoot me a text or give me a call. So then that way people's DMs don't just fall into your pit of like I do sometimes where my personal one that's just for pictures of mommy stuff and things like that, where I'll look and I'll be like, oh, my aunt messaged me. And then she's sad that I didn't message her back. Branded content approvals, that's if you're gonna do, like, an influencer might do something with, like, say, Coke or Pepsi or Nike, and then they're gonna have to do a branded content approval. Those are the basic ones there that I think you guys need to know about. Let's see. Oh, okay. So for your linked accounts, so if you go into business, you go down to your settings, you go down to account.
So then maybe I don't have a business account yet.
Okay, we'll get you set up with one.
Do you have a Facebook?
How did you?
Do you have a Facebook?
Oh, we're on Facebook
No.
now.
Do you have a Facebook page?
Yeah. But
All
I
right.
clicked on it, so.
I'll take a look. You want to make sure that if you want things shared specifically to your Facebook business page, that you link those up. So if you want to share it to your personal profile, then you need a personal Instagram account. You cannot share things directly from a business Instagram account to your personal profile. It has to be business to business, personal to personal. They got rid of that because of the whole influencer market that was created with Instagram and Snapchat and all those really cool tools that have come out. Basically because they needed a way to differentiate that so there were no issues. So make sure that you're connected. You can also set it up so that you can auto share things. So you can auto share your story to Facebook without having to go into it afterwards and say make sure that's shared. You can also automatically share your posts to Facebook. So then that way it's just automatically happening. If you are, one of the things I recommend, if you're wanting to be careful about the things that you're sharing from your Instagram account to your business page, let's say it's a family outing and you just want to put it on your Instagram, you don't want to share it there, then you wouldn't want this connected. Or you could just make sure to undo it when you're posting a picture. Let's see, close friends. So close friends, we don't send a notification. I love that they added that. We don't send notifications to people when you edit them off your list. So your list, so I could add people, let's see, that I want to message on a regular basis. There, we'll add Lindsay because then she'll be sad. And then what you do is once you want to send something to somebody, so let's say I go to this picture, when this pops up, you have all the different options. So you have the I could add this to my story. I could reply to this. I could copy the link. So this would be if I wanted to use the repost app, I could use that to recopy it. And then when you hit the share to, that opens up a bunch of different options. So let's say we posted something on the Team Bjorkman Instagram that you directly want to share with, you're like, oh my gosh, I need that to go to this buyer, or I need that to go to this person. You can send it as a text, you can airdrop it to somebody, you can post it on Facebook, send it in an email, in Facebook Messenger, any of the things that you have indicated as options, then that can go directly to them. So that makes it super easy to share things across different platforms. The other thing you can do is if, let's say it's something that's personal on somebody's personal page, it's not public, you can always just save it and save it to a collection. And then you can create collections, so it's like creating a photo album. So let's say you're looking at other real estate agents' Instagram pages because they're posting property. And you see, let's say 4 or 5 different properties that you think are really good for this one specific person. You can create a collection just for that person and then share it with them later. The other thing it's cool for is if you're looking for staging tips. We have so many decor people that are popping up in town that are doing staging. If you want to maybe collect a list of different people whose work that you like, that you want to maybe partner up with. If you see you want a list of the different events or things that are happening and you want to share it with somebody who might be relocating to the area, then there's also a ton of other neat things that you can do with collections that I really, really like. So
even if the account is private, you can add it to a collection and share it.
Mm-hmm. So like, let's see here. Okay, let's go to, so this app I absolutely have started to just magically love. I was watching somebody's Facebook live training a few months ago, and she just rattled off a list of all like the cool apps that she started to use. And this one I really, really, really like. This one's called InShot, and it's free to download. I believe it's like $2.99 to unlock the watermark, or $3.99 or something like that. But why I like this one is you can do the 3 basic things that everybody wants to do in one spot. So you can create a collage from pictures, you can do just edit a photo, or you can do video. And if you guys were on the Instagram recently for Team Bjorkman, I did this one. So yeah, so I just took all the pictures from Boulder Crest and created a new video with it, so that we could highlight it. We have a lot of really neat slideshow stuff that we've taken out of the single property website tool that we're using. But if you can find new and creative ways besides what we already have to make yourself stand out, just leave it as a draft. Then it also does, I did this one for the open houses.
That's really cool.
And then it just plays on a loop. So I did that one this last weekend. But so then you have all these different options of, they have all these really neat like little templates and things that you can use, and stickers, and different types of text, fonts and colors. So I really like this one. I've been using it for a lot of different things. I've been playing with it a lot. If you're having trouble with a lot of the different things, like we've been using Maxa a lot. Canva is another tool that people really, really love, but also it ends up getting confusing if you're starting from scratch or you can't find a template that works. One of the things I always encourage is to just keep it simple. Don't overdo it, don't overthink it, don't try and add too much to it. If you're looking at Canva and you're frustrated because you can't figure out which template would be good, or if you're looking at Maxa and it's driving you nuts because you're like, I don't know if that's right. Just keep it super simple. If you want to post about a property that you're hosting open, create a collage of the photos that are already in Drive. We keep everything in Google Drive. I download all the marketing. Andy uploads all of the videos and his photos and aerial shots. If anything, you want to use those really cool videos that are already there and made for you, and use those like over and over again on your social media. But if you're looking to do something fun, just really quick, InShot is a really great tool that I really, 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 really like. And they have all kinds of neat fun stuff. Like I was looking at the crazy kitty stickers. Like how cute is that? Sorry, I could get lost in here forever. Okay, the unfollow app that I use is literally called Unfollow. This is one of my clients' accounts. It's called Unfollow by InstaCleaner or InstaCleaner by Unfollow. I forget which one it is. But I'll send links to all of these in an email so you guys can find them easily without sitting there and going, like, I don't know which one it was. But what this does is this just allows you to select, and I'm using the free version. I didn't upgrade to get rid of the watermark. Sometimes a little ad pops up, but I don't use it that often. With Instagram's current rules, you can use unfollow tools. They just don't want you to use any more of these follow apps that a lot of people were using. And I'll admit it, I was using them for a while because it makes it super easy. But what you can do is you can just go through and select non-followers. And if there's anybody who's not following you,
So this one.
What was the name of that? Was it the cleaner?
It's Insta-Cleaner.
Insta-cleaner?
There's the Cleaner app by Novasoft, which is also very good. Or there's Insta-Cleaner.
But Captive, no more.
Yeah, no more Captivate. They're actually getting rid of it as of the end of the month. It's going to be off the. But so then it just comes up with 16 people who don't follow you. Why I like this kind of thing, but you should also be definitely keeping an eye on who you're following, because you don't want to unfollow somebody who's important that maybe isn't following you.
Oh,
That's
this one?
yes. It'll also look at inactive users, ghost followers. You can select a segment. There's some cool stuff you can do with it, but of course nothing replaces actual, one-on-one contact and communication with people who you want to talk to. This is the Repost app that I use. It's this little blue circle is the icon for it, but again, I have the email all ready to send out to you guys with the presentation and the PDF and the links to the tools that I like, so you guys don't have to search for them too terribly hard. But why I like this is it's just, let's say I wanted to take this post and repost it. All you have to do is go to the top 3 buttons at the top, copy the link, and then you come back to here. Oh, that's okay. I haven't updated my subscription yet. But then you come back here, and what you do is you just you decide where you want the credit to appear. So you always want to make sure you're giving credit to whoever initially posted it. And then you just tap on the repost button. It'll tell you exactly what it's going to do. You hit got it, and then you look for Instagram, and it'll take it on over to there so you can share it as a post. So that's super easy. Instead of, I know we had talked about, I forget who was doing it. Somebody had said there was someone who was taking screenshots of pictures on Instagram and then sharing them as images. You want to avoid that just because Instagram hates it. And you want to tag and give credit to the person who originally posted it. So if it's another member of the team, they posted about a new listing and you want to share it, give them credit for it. If it's a nonprofit organization, if it's another business or something that you want to give a shout out to, tag them and give them credit for it. This is another app that I like for creating images, especially because they do quotes. This one's called WordSwag. And I want to say it's $4.99, and it's $4.99. It's for forever or whatever it is. But you can take pictures. You can go to your library, so whatever you already have stored, or you can look at free photos. And so why I like this one is because they keep adding different free archives from different stock photography companies. So it's real estate, and they're like washing their face. That's funny. So we have Unsplash and Pixabay. Pixabay is one of you'll start to notice that a lot of these are things that you've probably seen in ads or different real estate stuff, flyers and things like that, because they're the most common open source images. You want to avoid taking pictures off of a Google search and then posting them. If you take pictures off of a Google search and you post them, especially if they're of Santa Clarita and it was a Santa Clarita photographer who took the pictures, I have had clients, this was years ago, but I've had clients who have gotten cease and desist letters from local photographers who get really antsy and upset because you used my picture and you didn't ask my permission.
Oh, I'm glad you said something because I'm so guilty of that.
So, no. Just be careful, because it was a flyer. So it was a flyer that they were door knocking with, and someone took a picture of it and shared it on Facebook, and this person saw it and just got their panties in a bunch over it and sent a really nasty gram.
Wow.
Had their attorney write up the whole thing. So let's say you find a picture in the stock photos here, and what I love is that it does it in all the different sizes. So you don't have to.
It looks free. Not asking me for money.
Not yet. So then let's say I want to do it like that, and it's going to be the cover, and then, so why I like this one is because if I'm not feeling inspired and I double tap the text, it comes up with quotes for me.
No. Oh my gosh, this is gonna be my new favorite.
So they have categories. So there's classics. There's.
Where are you in?
So
The library?
I just picked a picture and then I just went on to the next. I hit next.
Oh.
So, but it's, so they have like classics. So this is a Walt Whitman quote. They've got so true, stay hungry, get hyped, good morning, BFFs, be mindful, cheese please, and then quickies. And then you can always put your own in if you want to. But so, some of these are really good. Some of them are kind of weird, like the cheese please ones. Please send queso.
Did you have a notification to drink some water?
I did, yeah. So let's say I want to add this to my picture. So that doesn't fit there. So I want to go back and I want to do it as a square for Instagram. So we go to image and you can darken the picture. You can make it darker.
Oh, that's cool.
You can make it lighter. You can make it brighter. So let's darken it so we can see the text. So what I want to show you now is the style. So style, color, image, but you can go through and there's a ton of different styles that you can pick. So you'll notice, like I use these guys. You can make it bigger.
Huh.
There's this
Interesting.
cutie. Let's see, where's the so like if you want to use like pretty. So yeah, this one is also one of InShot and WordSwag are like my top two for creating fun stuff, because I find it's really easy to get into a rut and you're like, well, I don't want to just post about real estate and I don't just want to post the cool things my kids are doing, and you know, how often can you post about like what you're drinking and eating when people are like, is that all you do is drink and eat? And then you're like, oh, I have a life, I promise. But if you want to, what I always recommend is try and post like, you know, 2 times a week where you're posting something inspirational. And you can always, what I do is I'll find these little quotes in here and then it'll inspire me to be like, oh, that's really cool. And then, you know, you can always relate it back to something that's happening in your life or something that you just experienced, or people love stories. So I know it's really easy to say like, I'm just gonna write a one-liner and then I'm done with my Instagram post. But what we're starting to see is that the longer your posts are, the better they're performing. And right now the statistics are very slim on it, but the longer your Instagram posts are, it seems like people are taking the time to actually read them, which you wouldn't think is something that would happen on social media, because we've always been told, keep it quick, keep it fast, people want to keep moving. But I think we're moving into a cycle of social media where storytelling is starting to become very important again. For a while, it was, I just want to watch your video so I don't have to read your whole post. But now people actually want to know the story behind the post. They want to know the story behind the video. So if you have any special insights, if there's any really cool stuff, I've started to play around with this with the Team B stuff, where I'm adding in, you know, paragraphs about the houses or paragraphs about what's happening, or making the posts long to see. And we're starting to see a really neat kick up in interaction, which we've always done pretty well, and we've always seen good success with all of our video posts. But the more you're adding in terms of text, it seems like the better things are performing. And it's the same with Facebook too. And what was interesting was in one of the Facebook trainings, somebody had asked, is it still keep it short and sweet? And it was funny because the trainer was like, oh, I can't officially say yes, I can't officially say no, but she was saying that, you know, they're still getting ready for the second quarter statistics so that they can show and highlight exactly what's happening, but people want the story. It's always been, social media has always been about storytelling and sharing what's going on in your life, but more and more people want to read about the picture of your family vacation or the video about the community center. And so if you put more thought into each post, I guarantee you that's better than if you're just like, I'm sharing this quote because it's awesome.
How much is too much though?
Well, so I'll show you.
But like about the story, not like the link or the content, but like
I would say, so I was reading.
where do you draw the line between trying to exude a professional image and sharing your dirty laundry? I mean, guys,
Yes.
do people need to know that I cried 3 times last
You know,
in one day?
So I think honestly, like when it comes to like that kind of stuff, it's like maybe they need to know you cried 3 times in one day, because you know you've got people out there that all they're posting. I mean, you've got real estate professionals out there. I won't just say people, real estate professionals out there that just post about their successes,
Which is so boring.
which
to follow.
which is great and inspirational to a point. But you know that person had a point in their week where they fell flat on their face, and if they shared it, how powerful would that be to see that somebody messed up and it's okay? Because that's what Mike does a lot, that I think people are like, oh, that's awkward, that's weird. But he shares the like behind the scenes stuff, like the family things that are happening, or like, and maybe it's not necessarily knee deep in the bad, but it's like, you know, now my wife is mad at me because I did this. And it's like, he tells the story and people are like, oh yeah, I totally relate. That's hilarious. You know, I shared the other day, you know, a picture because nobody rinses their plates. You know, and it's like, you know, I had like 10 comments on this post because nobody rinses their plates. And like 10 people were like, oh my gosh, yeah, my wife does that. It's so gross. And it's like, yeah. And it was just relatable. You know, I was like, I'm up to my eyes in work. My eyeballs are like, and I have to still scrape plates at the end of the day. Look at me, look at the professional who just finished like 8 hours of Facebook and Instagram training. You know, sometimes you have crappy days and it's okay to share it. I would say if, as you're typing it, if you're questioning whether or not you should be sharing it, maybe don't share it. If it feels like maybe it might make the husband uncomfortable or somebody whose opinion you value, then delete it and take it back. But I like to type it all out first and then go like, okay, maybe I'll take that out. Nobody needs to know that that happened and I agree with that. But it's okay to share those things. Like one of the ladies that I follow that's one of my favorite actresses, like she was literally doing an Instagram story and she was walking and she's like taking this video and she tripped and fell and her phone flew and she walks over to her phone and she's like, I'm so glamorous, and she picked it up and just kept going, you know. And then later on she shared it as an actual Instagram post because she was like, you know, I'm just a regular person too. I trip and fall, and you know, I'm a horrible mom sometimes because I was running because I was late to pick up my kids by an hour and a half at summer camp. You know, so those types of things are always cool too.
That was awesome.
Jenny's like, what just happened?
So I asked Andy this question
Right?
earlier this week, last week, now I forget. My days run together. It's only Tuesday, isn't it? On Instagram, how do I make a new paragraph? Or like, a, you know, like how do I go to the next line? Because mine just seems to run all together even when I...
Yes. So it's really funny to me because they tell you to just hit enter,
That's
hit return, and it never works. It never works. So
Andy's special, it works for him.
No, I'll like literally if it works for me, I'm like ready to throw a party. I started to do
Spaces?
I thought it was periods for a while. I was adding periods to everything.
I know, what's the,
But it kind of
what's
screws
the
it up when you
dots?
say it too, though, because when people have different font sizes, That can throw it off too, right?
Yes,
Oh,
especially
sure.
people who download like fancy font
Yeah.
keyboards. So this is what I started to do for this one. I started to
Okay.
throw those in there.
Okay.
Will you put up on the screen so I can see what you're
No,
doing?
I won't put on the screen.
Come
I'll put
on.
on the
There's
screen.
Show me
no
your-
like,
show me your
sure,
magic.
true way to make a new line.
You know, I think the issue is, and I'll show you, this is the one example. So I started to do this because I have
Ooh, gotcha.
those, what is it, asterisks?
Yeah.
Because those just look the cleanest, periods for some reason. I don't know why, but every time on my one client's thing, like I'll do the periods and on it'll look fine. And on his like tiny iPhone, like the periods go.
So it depends on your iPhone size.
So
Oh, yeah.
it's the phone, it's the size of the phone, it's different on Androids. If
Yeah.
like I have a friend who has like the fancy keyboard, so all of her stuff is like the font that she picked that she likes, it's all like curvy and cute and stuff. So all of the stuff that I do with the emojis looks super neat on her phone. But on her husband's phone, who's got like the giant text that's all like Helvetica, like, 500 point font, like it's like he's like scrolling for days. He's like, I don't know what that is. I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't know what to do. But yeah, I think I like the asterisks. I've started to just do like a lot of emojis.
Yeah.
I think those are so
Well,
like it catches your eye. Like I want to
So
look at it,
you
even
just
though I
do
know
return
what
an
it is.
emoji and it's breaking it up for you?
And that's
Okay.
breaking it up, yeah. So I started to do this. See, I did it backwards on this one. Wait, come back. It's in a promotion. So what I started to do is like up here, type a period, but I did it backwards. And then hit enter.
Right.
So then everything is below Team Bjorkman. Let me see if I
Oh,
can.
I see what I know what you mean.
So you know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Like that's what I'm starting to try and do with those new listing posts, so that everything shows up, and I'm not gonna. Here we go. This
Yeah.
one.
Oh, I like that.
So
So
So you're typing a period,
type
then hitting
period,
enter.
and then hitting enter, and then putting all the stuff so it shows up below it.
I dig that.
So I've been messing around with it just because like I've seen a lot of different examples. I follow a lot of different creators and stuff and people who do like just Instagram, and I've started to see like that looks really neat. The asterisks look really cool. If you're doing paragraphs, you can do the asterisks and that shows up really well. But this one seems to be working the best so that it
So
all
you-
shows up in one
you
chunk.
put the period and then you do the.
Yeah, and then you hit enter, and then I do the emojis. So people are really liking the emojis. I
And then
like.
how does that show up on Facebook? The same way?
So it shows up the same way with the period in there, but I just pop right on over and delete it.
Oh, okay. And then the hashtags you put in the comment section in
Yeah,
Instagram?
so hashtags go in the first comment.
And what's your hashtag app?
Oh, so
Hashtags.
it's hashtagged is one of the ones I use. But there's also,
So I paid for that and got their step up because I liked it so much. I didn't really notice the difference. Did I miss something on that or no?
so I think what they've started to do is they've started to deliver like regular generic sets instead of high volume ones.
Yeah.
So I got this guy.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so tell me what's the difference.
So I'm not yet on premium with it. I'm still testing it out just because I like to see what I get from it.
Yeah.
So if I type in, not real estate, and I search it, what this is supposed to do is it gives you the highest ranking. So this is the top 50, you can copy your top 15. The ones that they're not showing you are the premium ones. But like I'm pretty sure I can figure out that that's real estate.
Yeah.
So I like to just sort of look and see what's performing well here, and then I'll sort of keep, I have I use Google Keep, which is just like Apple Notes, but it's all connected to Google Drive. So I will have Google Keep open with like a bunch of just different versions of hashtags of stuff, and then I'll copy and paste these over there. But what you can do is just like you tap on them,
Oh, that's cool. I was wondering.
and it'll highlight it.
And which app is this one?
This is Hash Me,
Hash Me.
Hash Me, and then you copy them, and then when you copy them, it opens it up to Instagram, and then you can paste them.
Cool.
So, but what you definitely want to do in terms of hashtags though is make sure that besides generic ones like real estate, realtor, real estate life, all those ones, is, you know, like people are searching for specific things. So we live in the Santa Clarita Valley. Hashtag SCV is always going to be a good one to show up and search for. Hashtag Santa Clarita, hashtag Santa Clarita real estate, hashtag Santa Clarita realtor. There's nothing wrong with doing your name as a hashtag. I think it's always a good idea to take whatever people could potentially be searching for, because when you look at Instagram, and people are searching, search. If I type in Santa, look who's the top. You're welcome. So it's going to show you initially Santa Clarita, right? So then you tap on that, and then here's the top posts. It shows you top posts, but then you can also pop over and look at recent and see what's recent. And this is a good way to find new followers, new people to follow. This is a good way to see what else is happening locally, because we have a lot of local nonprofits and restaurants and businesses and organizations that are taking advantage of hashtags and social media and stuff. So, but when you look at tags, I mean, Santa Clarita Diet is still the top performing hashtag, and the show got canceled.
I know, so good.
It's really sad. But you can look at and see what's top performing, or what's being followed. If you want to avoid over following people, you can follow hashtags,
Oh.
and then that way it's good suggestions to see what's coming up.
Oh, that's cool.
I guess I'll like that even though I look horrible in that picture. I'm gonna get Tammy pre-approval on that one. But yeah. So that's just a few things that you guys
That's cool. Very cool.
can.
There's so much.
My last question.
Yeah.
I wish my 16-year-old would help me.
So you mentioned two of them, and the two names that you threw out, I don't even know, but Hootsuite and the other.
Buffer.
But yeah, so which one or top 2, 3 are the best to use?
I've used Hootsuite, but it was so long ago, what, 4 or 5 years ago, so. Isn't it charged now?
Yes. I know, back in the day when it used to be a free
Yeah,
fund.
I shouldn't have canceled it. Probably.
I don't use Buffer anymore. I stopped using Buffer just because as like the agency level, they started to get really pricey. So I have a couple different tools, and I'm trying to remember which one it is.
I can tell you're stalling.
And the Social Pilot is one of the ones I love. They have a Instagram reminder connection, so if you want to schedule your Instagram post, it'll pop up with a push notification and remind you to say like you've scheduled something for now, so you should post it.
It's an app?
It's an app, but it's also a tool you can sign up online. And then there's also one called Social Assist Pro that I like, that's pretty inexpensive. If you're going to use anything as an individual, those two are good. And then Buffer is still good for individual accounts, but they only give you, I want to say it's like 14 days or 30 days of a free trial. And then you have to pay if you're going to connect it to a business profile, because they have some sort of weird API thing going on.
I'm so bummed about that. That was sweet.
The hard part with Instagram is there's all these scheduling tools that pop up, but they only offer push notifications. So that's also really neat. But if you can find an all-in-one, like Buffer does now have push notifications, and their app has gotten so much easier to use than it used to be. It used to be such a pain in the butt. You tap on something and end up deleting it. But I like those tools. Any other questions?
25.